Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Today I have an article from SilverSeek talking about JP Morgan with their criminal intent in the world of precious metals. If you want to check this out for yourself, the link will be in the description. I'm going to be going over the criminal enterprise that JP Morgan has been running, and those were in quotations from this article, but it definitely doesn't surprise me. JP Morgan has been caught manipulating gold and Bitcoin prices to millions and billions of dollars, in spoofing and placing false buy orders, and I just am not surprised. They also got caught with $5 million in misprinted gold bars a couple weeks ago as well. Three of their employees have been criminally charged, and they're definitely looking into the shadiness of this company. So anyways, let's jump into this article. Gold and silver bullion banks spit in the face of Department of Justice. Just 2 days after the Department of Justice went as far as to call JP Morgan's precious metals trading desk a criminal enterprise, the gold and silver bullion banks were back at it again on Wednesday, hammering the price of both gold and silver during the Federal Reserve's announcement of another quarter-point interest rate cut. Going into the meeting, while it was largely assumed that the Fed would cut a quarter point, this time it was not a guarantee, with some market commentators even suggesting that there would be no cut at all, which is different than a situation where the market was expecting a 50 basis point cut and was disappointed when the amount was only 25. Although that was not the case for this particular situation. In terms of precious metals, a quarter point should have been at worst neutral, but likely still bullish, yet instead prices of gold and silver were both hammered. And this is interesting because we definitely thought that the interest rates were going to push precious metals higher, but it actually kept prices pretty stagnant. And last time the interest rates got cut, it definitely boosted precious metals, along with a couple other things happening in the economy, whether it was stock market volatility or the trade wars between US and China. But the interest rates, was either going to be 1 to 3 more within that week, and they only did 1, and the results were shocking to a lot of people. But it goes on to say, which isn't entirely surprising given how many times we've seen similar price action over the past decade. Yet it is shocking given the news on Monday that more bullion bankers were being charged, including Michael Nowak, JP Morgan's precious metals desk chief and a managing director who also serves as London Bullion Market Association board member. Which means that not only is he the head of JP Morgan's trading desk, but that he's also representing the LBMA, whose CEO states its role to ensure the quality and integrity of metals itself, as well as the market participants. Well, so much for that, and it's definitely no surprising news. I mean, every time I hear JP Morgan, I just think of shadiness and sketchiness all around. So, and keep in mind that JP Morgan is also the custodian of the silver ETF SLV, which is really important to take note of because that's ETF stands for exchange traded funds, and that's the digital side of precious metals, and he's a custodian, which means he takes care of all of the exchanges and basically the backbone behind it, behind the scenes, controlling he's monitoring the prices and everything, all the trading that goes on. So which makes you wonder what the bank actually has to do before one of the regulatory agencies decides that maybe it's not the best integrity of the market to allow a bank that has committed a series of felonies to continue to dominate the trading. Certainly, I do not want to overgeneralize. And there's been a lot of volatility in the precious metals markets over the past few months, yet I find it extremely difficult to imagine that there were a large number of investors who heard the news from the Fed and were in such a rush to exit their positions that they just fired out large market orders that crashed the price. This is called pump and dump. I've seen this happen a lot in the cryptocurrency world as well. So especially as a former equity options market maker, I was specifically trained to never execute an order like that, because if you really have a position you legitimately want to sell, rather than driving the price down, you want to sell it as quietly as possible to get the highest price. So it was rather amazing to see this play out again, given the charges that were announced on Monday, because it's one thing to manipulate a market when nobody's looking and there's a chance you don't get caught, but unless there's some other explanation I'm just unable to see, it sure seemed like at least one of these banks were spitting in the face of the Department of Justice investigation. Maybe the banks assume that the DOJ investigation is just for show and has no teeth, or maybe they don't care. But in either case, it appears once again some traders or groups of traders did exactly what other traders were just arrested for 2 days earlier. So, man, this is interesting. JP Morgan, once again, behind the scenes, doing shady stuff, spoofing, placing false buy and sell orders, tricking gullible and vulnerable investors, that are in this to think that the prices are higher. Then they cancel the buy and sell orders right before they go through. So it looks like a lot of people are buying gold and silver, but in reality, it's a false flag. And this is so bad and detrimental because this is misleading a lot of people in the world. It's definitely manipulating prices. We saw Merrill Lynch do this a couple months ago. JP Morgan's done it in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They called Bitcoin a scam and went on the news saying Bitcoin was a terrible investment. And then a lot of people got scared, sold it, shot the price down. And then all of a sudden, once the price was low, then they bought millions of dollars in Bitcoin. And it was shown on the blockchain because the blockchain shows everything on a public database. And then JP Morgan did a similar thing with precious metals as well, placing false buy orders. Merrill Lynch did the same. Now, I want to talk about gold and silver being in a bubble because when you think of, market manipulation and precious metals being in a bubble, you think of it more from, a standpoint like this. Like, this makes sense now. It's the conspiracies, the theories that are behind, market manipulation or price manipulation is more on a larger scale. You would think higher powers, these guys that have millions of dollars, but you wouldn't really think of it from a more of a company standpoint that's in the media or in the spotlight as much as JP Morgan. It's really like they don't care. It's like they're known for this now, and it's almost to the point where everyone knows it, they know it, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore, which is really interesting because it's highly illegal. I mean, JP Morgan's the lead custodian behind the silver ETF. I mean, precious metals ETFs are widely traded, widely exchanged. It's one of the more popular ones, and for the custodian to be known as a shady guy behind the scenes doing things, manipulating prices, this is really dangerous. It could be a really bad spot for precious metals in the terms of people not trusting it, because how could you trust something where the main custodian is working for, or is doing stuff illegal behind the scenes, especially that's affecting the prices? The price should be allowed to have a natural flow of buying and selling and not these false flag, pump and dumps or people trying to basically cover up what the natural price is or what the natural trading, flow is, the volume. It's really disgusting. And I wanted to share this with you guys because this is also influencing the physical bullion side of it. I mean, precious metals, 99% of people that invest in the precious metals are on the ETF side of it. So think about that. 99% of people that invest in the precious metals are on the ETF side of it, where the main custodian behind it is known for manipulating the markets. And this also will affect physical precious metals as well. Not to the same extent, because the ETF side of it is more of a day trading, marginal trading standpoint. I'm more in the physical bullion for 20, 30 years down the line. So it's important to also understand the risks involved into your markets. Not saying that it's as risky or it's not as risky. It really is. That's really, your opinion, because you really don't know all the information behind the scenes for both markets. I mean, the physical silver also has its downfalls, whether it's the miners not digging it out the ground, not seeing it as profitable, or the top 3 silver producers, Mexico, Peru, and Chile, not taking silver seriously, bypassing it, only finding it by accident from other, gold, lead, and zinc mines, and, only individual silver mining companies are the ones digging it out the ground right now. Silver production's been cut down by the hundreds of millions of ounces in the last 3 years. So they both, precious metals and in the ETF side of it, the digital and physical bullion side of it, both have stuff going on, and they're both affecting prices either negatively or positively, whether you're looking at US-China trade wars, Hong Kong protests, the dollar index, whether it's there's so many things going on right now, and it really is up to investors to, I guess, you can't even accurately, make an educated guess on the risks involved or what field you're investing in, on how far that's going to be, affecting your investments. I mean, we also have the US-Iran, stuff going on as well. So all of these things could be affecting precious metals prices, stock market volatility, the dollar collapsing, people turn towards safe haven investments. the Fed rates cutting, not even cutting a half of what they thought they were intended. The oil fields, the Saudi Arabia attacking the oil fields, and they can't, or they won't be installing them as quick as they thought. It's going to take several months when they thought it was going to only take a couple weeks, which is going to be pushing oil prices up. There's so many things going on. You have to really be careful and understand the markets involved, and also what behind the scenes is going on, or to the best of your ability, get educated on this stuff, because you could be in the silver ETF right now and not fully be aware of the manipulation going on behind the scenes, and this could affect how you buy, sell, or trade, and hopefully you can make the best possible choices for yourself while protecting your wealth or your investment. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Like I said, the link will be in the description if you want to check it out yourself. Sometimes I try to highlight just the main parts of the article, so if you want to dive a little deeper and look at the charts and all that stuff as well, the link will be in the description. Hope you guys do enjoy this video. I'm sorry that it has to be something like this, but I have to inform my audience. I have to let you guys know what's going on, for the, it just feels right. But anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I posted 2 other videos today, so go check those out as well, talking about silver's price, what is going on. I dived a little deeper into the oil fields, the Fed cut rates. I dived into the US-China trading wars. I talk about everything and why all this is affecting silver's price. So I also talked about the gold to silver ratio being extremely low at 82 to 1 right now. That's another video I posted today, so if you want to check that out, make sure you go check out. The 2 links will be in the top and bottom left hand corners of the screen right here. If you want to check them out, you can just click on the videos right there and it'll take you to them. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.